Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading room. Hang on here a second while I get the screen share going on. Just a little friendly reminder that trading is risky and you should never use money you cannot afford to lose. Always good advice. Okay, a little bit of a soft start here this morning. Bear with me here. I see one of my charts not behaving correctly. Okay. Here now the daily chart. Come on, work with me. I've rearranged everything on my desktop, so now I'm having a heck of a time getting the charts to cooperate. Okay. This is the daily chart for the NASDAQ, and you can see over the last few weeks, we've had a very nice little rally higher that has also caused a trend line intersection. Now, this is actually starting to look a little bit bullish to me, or more bullish to me, but what is likely to happen over the next few days is that we are likely to see a little bit more of a pullback going on. That's my guess, of course, and that's really all it is at this point. But that's kind of what I would be looking for. I think I would be looking for some sort of reaction to the, oh, I should put volume on here. I haven't put volume on here. It's interesting to know what the volume ends up doing relative to prices. Volume, where are you? Oh, I think we need to make those a little wider. There we go. Okay, good. I like to see the current volume for the day as well. Volume typically, or used to, print a day behind. And for those of you who are conspiracy nuts, there was a suggestion that that was done so that the average trader could not compete with the professional traders who had access to the daily volume information. But you can see here volume increasing a little bit on some relatively small bars, and that also suggesting perhaps a little bit of a pullback, if not another reversal. All right, so let's put that on the shelf there for now. A little bit of a quiet start to the day, given that we had a 3-day weekend. All right, we're a little bit back and forth. For those of you who like your first in-sync eagle signal of the day, it looks like we had a buy signal produced right here, and we're taking a little bit of heat on the trade. This was yesterday's market, kind of tailing off there a little bit. We definitely have a sideways trading range going on at this point. That's still a little dark, isn't it? Let's knock that down. There, that's better. So the whole idea with the sideways trading range is you avoid the market while it's in the sideways trading range. People always asking, how do you trade a sideways trading range? Well, you don't really. While we're waiting on this, though, it might be an opportunity here to go over some of the features with the trade calculator. Now, I encourage you, we sent out those quick little videos that Ben made, and we are making better videos about the trade calculator, but you can learn a lot just by playing with it. First, let's go through the indicator itself. So you click on the trade calculator. This is your account sync, of course. Ticks on limit, ticks on stop. This is I'm going to show you this here in a moment. This will tell you how far the trade calculator will place the stop and limit orders from current prices. And I'll show you, like I said, I'll show you that in just a moment. The ATM strategy, we're not going to get into that today, but you can assign an ATM strategy. The ATM is part of the chart trader with NinjaTrader, and you can actually auto trail your stops with an ATM strategy or preset profit objectives. This is your risk parameter mode. So the all-important risk parameter mode, by default, it's 2.5%. That's fine. Typically, anything less than 5% is considered prudent. It is a bit of a sliding scale, meaning that the smaller your account is, the higher your risk percentage will need to be in order to place a trade. And then conversely, the larger your account is, the smaller, the less amount of money you can risk. Account balance, maximum contracts. Now this is interesting because you can scale your trade calculator in such a way that you will get multiple contracts. If you want to cap your exposure, this is where you're going to go to do it. So if you never want to have more than 3 contracts in play, well, this is where you can max it out. Minimum contracts, of course, 1 horizontal line tag. That's so the trade calculator can find the horizontal line on your chart that you intend to use for your stop loss. Initial stop in ticks, and again, I'm probably going to make this a little bit more generous. And then your initial stop ATR. This is where you can preset your targets if based on ticks versus your risk reward ratio. So my first target, this is the eagle. I have 40 ticks. I don't have a second and third target. If I were to use the risk reward ratio, You can see the target 1 is a distance of your stop loss relative to your stop loss. So 1.5 times, 3.25 times, those are your defaults. And this is how the system will take off your profit targets. Target 1 is 50%, target 2 is 30%. And then here's some of the cosmetics that you can adjust. Like I say, it's not bad to go into sim mode and just kind of play with it for a little bit. You will learn a lot about how it works just by playing with it. Then once you've made your changes, you can click on your template button and you can save it. And you can call it something else here. I'll just leave it as the default. All right. Now with the trade calculator, a lot of what the trade, well, you can control practically all the features of the trade calculator through here. So first we want to do is we want to enable it. And you can see by default it goes to the buy market button. Well, let's say I wanted to short here below this low. Well, I can either right click and I can throw my just in case order in there, or by hovering over the, I want to sell it, hovering over the sell button, if I rotate the wheel in the middle of my mouse, you can see I'm producing different order options. So I have the sell market, I have the sell stop, I have the sell limit. Now, if you remember from the indicator, my sell stop is 5 ticks away from the current price. So that's why it's bouncing around a little bit. So what this will do is it actually gives me a 5 tick head start. So let's say here, just for illustration purposes, I'm going to short below here. So I'm on sell stop. Now with the left mouse button, as prices get down there, sorry about that. I think I lost audio. I don't know how much of that you missed. Hopefully not that much. But as I was saying, with the sell stop feature, with the stop feature, you actually get a little bit of a head start, and you can adjust that. You can make it larger or smaller. And then once your order goes live, well, then you also activate your stop loss and profit orders. So just by hovering over your button and rotating the wheel on your mouse, you can select different order styles. Same thing with here going over your ATR. You can click on it and select different stop strategies. Now, when you're, let's say your stop on your indicator, what people forget to do is you need to hold your shift key when you select your indicator, and then that will, the trade calculator will use that particular indicator as your stop loss. So this was just turned out to be a hard edge bounce. Quick little move lower, and we'll see if we can't. I'm going to chicken out now. I'm going to take the trade down here to the break even point, break even plus a few. Again, this is the Eagle. The brick sizes are a little bit larger. And I'll effectively trail it behind anything with a wick, any bar that has a wick to it. Come on. You can do it. So I'll kind of go about halfways now. And I'm going to squeeze the market here. You see we're back near this little low here. I don't want it to flinch. And we had a teeny tiny wick there. We should be able to get to our profit target. I hope. Hooray. All right, so just a basic little breakout style trade. Looks like we had corresponding signals across the board here in the hawk. We had the pullback. Could have got, nope, sorry, that one didn't trigger. Went into yellow bars, came out with the first micro macro cross right here. About the same time we got into, nope, sorry, this is where we got into our eagle trade, but you had a couple of opportunities to get on board here. With the hawk, first micro macro cross signals lower. And then with the falcon, oh, the falcon actually a little bit more conflicted. This was the trading range, of course. Here's the breakout. And, oh, right here we got the trend change signal. So the falcon coming through with the trend change signal, and then a bit of a move lower. And the Raptor, well, right there, you got your number 3 signal. This pretty much coincided with the Eagle signal. Into the hard edge after the breakout. Into the hard edge, number 3 signal, and down they go. Actually, we're still getting some very good follow through off of that signal. Could have perhaps tried to trail the stops a little bit further still. I would like to say, okay, here was my initial order up here and my initial stop up here. I would like to say I would have had the patience to ride out this swing, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't have. Once I saw this bar here, I probably would have brought my stops in somewhere around here. So it looks like I would have got tagged more or less the same place. But it's nice to look back on your chart and say, okay, well, 3-bar pullback. If I had the courage to take a 3-bar pullback, I could still be in this trade, albeit you have to allow for another 3-bar pullback. So your stops, once again, somewhere in this neighborhood. So if the market pulls back and tags me out, I would have still realized the same amount of profit. Personally, I'm a fan of profit. I like trying to manage the trade for more profit, but I'm also relatively keen on taking profit when I have it. That's the name of the game. Oop, let's get that out of there. Wow, market's still very, very strong to the short side. Here's a nice little late filter entry signal on the Falcon. So the trend line out of sync, or pardon me, filter out of sync back into sync. The trend line never changing color. Relatively flat on the trend line too. That's what we like to see. We like to see the trend line get a little bit flatter. No problem hitting your profit objective off that one. All right, a little bit of a pullback. We're producing actually a number 2 signal here on the Raptor. Not sure how aggressive I want to get on that signal just yet. We are back to the hard edge, which tends to be the target for this particular type of move. Well, look at this. Now we've got a first micro macro cross here to buy in the hawk. So I think I'll take advantage of the second push opportunity and look to buy just above here, above this little reactionary bar that occurred. And this is more aggressive. We are into the hard edge of the trading band, but it's a scalp. So I'm hoping that we should be able to get to the profit target. Okay, so there now is my stop order. All right, well, that's the beauty of a scalp. The market not needing a whole lot of time to get to its profit objective. And just a really quick little hiccup on that first micro macro cross. We're holding up around the hard edge now. Ooh, yeah. Richard's asking a trend change on the Falcon, definitely. And look at the follow through on that. A little bit late getting to it, but here was the trend change signal right here. So the trend change occurs when your trend line changes color. And typically we get this kind of configuration where you have the move that changes the trend line color, in this case from red to green. You have the counter move showing that the original trend or the previous trend is trying to resume, and then we come back with the signal telling us that, in fact, the buyers are stronger or seemingly stronger than the sellers. And that had a quick little hop to it. Right back to the median line. Thanks for pointing that out, Richard. Now we're getting that reaction to the hard edge and the support and resistance line. See the market push back a little bit. The Falcon trend line actually changing over. And we're into a red bar buy scenario here with the Hawks. So a few few signals a little conflicted. Alrighty, so now they're pushing back again. All right, so here now another late filter entry signal on the Falcon that's coinciding with a signal on the Raptor. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at perhaps shorting it below this bar that's forming right here. This now, my reactionary bar, that will allow me the second push opportunity. And just a moment here, it looks as though I haven't made my changes in my come on, finish loading. All right, so another late filter entry signal. The trend line not changing color yet. The filter in and out of sync a couple of times. The next sell signal is going to offer up another late filter entry. And I'm going to look at entering below here. Now you could throw your order in manually like so, or I want to make sure that I don't end up risking more than I can afford. That's where the trade calculator is so handy because it's going to cap my risk here. If the market heads lower, working another possible late filter entry. Okay, there we go. The market actually out of sync for a single bar, which I will let slide. I don't mind if the trend line goes out of sync for a single bar. If it goes out of sync for 2 or 3 bars, then it's a no-no. But a single bar, it may still come together. Oh, and look at that. They just blew right past the order there. Okay, so we got some pretty quick little moves going on here this morning. We could look to short below here as well, and it looks like that might have worked out nicely also, but we run the danger of a fake breakout. Why is that still so dark? So here now the breakout and the retest. Covering the trade is going to be a little bit trickier. Here on the Raptor, we had a few signals come together. So everything in sync with the ATR, so we would favor the number 1 or the number 3 signal. Actually, the Raptor getting us in a little bit earlier. Now we're looking at a possible reverse. Here we go again with the late filter entry signal. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to increase my distance for my stop order on my trade calculator. Okay, so the late filter entry signal, it did print. It was a relatively flat trend line. Again, because we broke this low, I'm kind of looking for a retest type idea. Here the Raptor already producing a counter trend signal. Let's see if we get a second push on that. Come on, you gonna give me a second push or not? Oh, you stinkers. All right, I'm going to treat this as my reactionary bar. I don't want to wait too long because the market's likely to get back up here to the hard edge, and then I've got nothing left on the trade. I will start to adjust my stops a little bit, bring them below this candle here with the big tail. Whew. And that worked out not too badly, as the market made a quick little move up here to the hard edge now. And now everything's starting to get a little bit more congested again. We had a couple decent legs lower after the breakout from this trading range that we were watching. So here was the trading range. Here was the breakout, the retest, the move lower, second move lower, and now the market recovering a little bit and heading back to the, looks like heading back to the trend line. Maybe even gonna change direction and end up becoming a little bit more bullish here. The Hawk's already there. The Falcon working a possible trend change signal. Maybe that trend change signal will coincide with a late filter entry as well. We'll have to keep a lookout. All right, more of the back and forth. Welcome to the grind. Okay, well, we're getting some decent swings, but I have a feeling we may be getting a little bit more congestion. When the market starts to reinforce bottoms, what we're looking for is a test of the extreme, and in this case, an opportunity to buy. I would not treat this as a rule of three because the signals are too far apart. But if we start producing another buy signal before we can take out this low here, then that does open up the opportunity for a rally, maybe. All right, there we go. There's signal number two against the hard edge of the trading band. We'll see if they come back with one more. And we've already got a green bar sell here on the hawk that we can certainly look to short, or pardon me, buy above, a failure above there. Nope, not yet. Momentum waning as we start to drift more and more sideways. So I'm still thinking about a buy up here, the failure of the green bar sell. The macro line's still out of sync, so we can't call these signals a first micro-macro cross. Oh, here they come again. With another green bar sell, or possibly green bar sell. Right now, oh, we had the warning dot. It has since disappeared. Oh, all right. Well, let me clean this up a little bit. Now we have the first micro-macro cross signal. And maybe another green bar sell. All right, there we go. Let's see what we get in the way of follow through. If we get any follow through, come on, don't stop. Ideally, stop should go below here. I'm going to look at taking profit at the same level here for both contracts. There we go. The market flinching a little bit as we're getting closer here to the 67.25-26 zone. That's kind of what held them down before. But we should be able to see it get up here and find our profit objective. All right. Hooray for us. So not a bad morning overall. A couple quick little moves. But overall, the signals have had a very good follow through, which is exactly what we're looking for. Well, after that quick little move up, we're now back here to this resistance area. Looks like we're going to work a trend change signal here on the eagle. That means we're going to get a trend change on the raptor, and we've got a late filter entry signal here on the falcon as well. So a couple of things going on. I'm just going to look to buy off of either of those bullish signals. So we had the number one signal, we have the late filter entry signal on the falcon. I spotted them a little bit late, but even so, the trend does seem to have shifted to be a little bit more bullish at this point. And I'll keep my stops 2 swings back, at least to start, because there's likely to be a little bit of a reaction right here. if we can get a little bit more breathing room, I will start to bring my stops up a little bit more aggressively. In this case, I'll be looking at anything with a tail, any bar with a tail. Aha! Look at that. We're getting a pushback here to the hard edge. Also, that swing low. Kind of the dangers of over trading. You know, when you have the trade quota and you have your 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 winning trades, it's a good idea just to stop trading. You can see if you go back to the well too many times, one of those trades is likely to be a loser. And there you go. Could not hold on to that move, and I suspect, or here I'll show you on the daily, it's probably more obvious on the daily. Overall today, we still have a fairly bearish looking day. So the trend, perhaps we should be looking at staying a little bit more bearish overall. All right, let's take a look at the next sell signal. Well, we've got a first micro macro cross right here in the hawk, actually. Got a green bar trying to sneak in there. Okay, I'm going to throw my sell order below that swing. I stretch my profit order a little bit. So all I've done here is a second push on this first micro macro cross. This first micro macro cross forgot to get rid of my sell order here. Hold on a second. My first micro macro cross, by the way, There we go. Let's close that out. My first micro macro cross, by the way, would have found its profit objective for a scalp, but I was trying to get a little bit more out of it, so I thought, well, I'll let it take out that reactionary low and look for that as an opportunity to take the market short. But we're back in this little bit of a sideways trading range. We keep going over the same prices. The market not drifting all that far off of the 67.20 zone. So I think it's important that we don't get too aggressive at this point. We'll wait them out a little bit. We just keep flip-flopping on the signals, trading bull bars and bear bars. Well, how aggressive do we want to be? Here is another late filter entry. The market not seeming like it wants to head any lower. Oops, sorry, hit the wrong button. But I did intend to buy here on a move above this hash mark. So hold on a second here. All right, so I'll close that out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to buy above that hash mark. All right, so I'll throw my stop order in. What this is a late filter entry signal. So the filter out of sync back into sync, the trend line not changing color. Well, we're really not getting much follow through here. All right, well, the trend line's out of sync. I'm going to cancel the order. It looks like they may try to make a run at it, but the conditions aren't right, so I'm going to just close that up for now. You can see here on the Raptor, we're starting to do that candy striping. We're getting a lot of signals. We're getting, some follow through on the signals, but by and large, there's no real trend here. The whole thing just really going kind of sideways. Now we're getting potentially a hard edge buy signal. There's the number 3 signal printing. See if we get a second push opportunity on that. No, you know what? I don't want to chase the market around. I'm going to wait for, overall today, it looks like the trend is down. So I'm going to wait for a decent shorting opportunity. I think that might be the better course of action, at least until proven otherwise. In fact, if you were to stay with the daily trend, you could pretty much short any sell signal. You wouldn't even have to wait for a setup. You could just go with any sell signal. So long as we're sideways though like this, it's going to be tough. All right, we're going to get a trend change signal here in the Falcon. We're going to get a first micro macro cross in the Hawk. Or we should have anyway. Okay, here now the number one signal in the Raptor. We have a trend change slash late filter entry here in the Falcon. And I'm going to try to do a second push on this. So I'm going to enter below here. I'm going to get my stops out of the way for the moment. Wow, another late filter entry signal. You don't like to see so many, the filter flip-flopping so many times. Yeah, now the trend line's going to spoil. All right, let's close her up. If it doesn't want to go lower, they may try to press higher, although my personal preference would be to short, and that's only because on the daily chart, it does look as though the market is a little bit more bearish today. All right, here they come again. With the Raptor, we're actually producing a follow-up signal. We have now a number 3 signal to short, and we could look to use that current bar here now as a second push opportunity. All right, so I'll throw my short order below the low of that current bar. Get this out of the way. All right. Well, market didn't do as anticipated, so we'll just pull the order. Alrighty. Now they're pretty content just to do the sideways drift right now. Okay, here we go with another selling opportunity. So we got another late filter in the Falcon. We've got another selling opportunity here off of a hard edge bounce. And as it gets a little lower, I'm going to place my order. Come on. There we go. All right, so I'll place a stop order here to enter below the lows, and the market brings me in, and hopefully we will see a little bit of follow through on this. I may roll my stops. Just 2 swings here to start. And in fact, I may extend the profit objective as well down here to the primary support zone. Stretch the trade out a little. Wow, they are being sticky today, aren't they? My goodness. Well, I definitely thought we were going to get more follow through off of that number 3 signal than we did. I guess the day is just getting a little bit long. They're just as happy to be moving sideways, and that's exactly what they continue to do. All right, well, so long as they remain within this sideways trading range, any trade attempted inside this sideways range is going to be very, very difficult to realize a profit. Because within a sideways trading range, we've got sellers that are up here, we have buyers that are down here. And of course, anything in the middle, well, you're just taking your chances. It's essentially a 50-50 proposition. And the best thing to do is to actually allow the market to break out, wait for the all-important retest. Once we have the breakout, well, then we can throw a just-in-case order in above that breakout zone, and we can look for a follow-up signal for the market to continue trend. Likewise here to the short side. And you could even, depending how aggressive you want to be, you could also set up a failure signal. So once the market breaks out, it actually kind of puts itself out on a limb and makes it so that we can structure a trade a little bit more efficiently. But as long as it is within that sideways trading range, it's going to be very difficult. So that's what I would be on the lookout for as the day progresses. In the meantime, they just seem very happy to be going back and forth. Yeah, just more back and forth. You see, if you try to trade within this range, they will whip you out. It's almost a given. All right, gang. Maybe we'll just button up shop here for the day. And we'll get back at it again tomorrow. Hopefully the market will shake up a little bit by then. Right now, like I said, so long as they're in this sideways trading range, we're just kind of asking for it. Okay, I will talk to you tomorrow then. Bye for now.